All right, well, there's a few folks here. I guess I will go ahead and get started. Um, not anything super exciting to report this week, but just I figure I'd ramble a little bit about what I've been up to. Um, so, a few of you may have noticed, I just pushed out an update, the test builds for the 1.7.10. If you go to Ballistica downloads, it should be, yeah, a nice fresh set of test builds if you want to play with those. And there's nothing super exciting in there. I'm not quite ready to release that on Google Play yet. There's still a bit more I want to add, but it just has like some kind of general polishing for the new like cloud console that I was showing last week. And also this stuff, the latest build I just pushed has this like ifro.debug module, which I've been writing over the past few days. So I wanted to kind of give a little demo of what that is, because that's kind of cool. So just to kind of, what I've been up to work-wise is, as I mentioned, I had to do some like server debugging or server work, because I launched, recently with the 2.0 V2 accounts and all that stuff. I launched all the, all these server nodes, which are these purple guys that everyone connects to those. And so I was having some like leak issues where each of these, it would like open connections to everyone who was talking to them, but then some of those connections would never get closed. So basically each of these would start like leaking like sockets, for those of you who know what sockets are. So I spent a big chunk of this week trying to track that down and trying to figure out like why my little local server nodes here are leaking sockets. So that's why I built a decent number of like debugging tools, which are actually useful in the game. So if anyone, I wanted to just give a quick demo to show how that works. But I think I got this under control now. So like if I go into any of these servers, like let's check out this London server. So if we come down here, all this nerdy stuff, tasks, this 46 means that there's 46 people connected to this server right now. And this server is just, like for account stuff. So when you launch the game, it connects to this server just so like your account, any messages having to do with your account go through this server. So there's 46 people connected and there's 53 sockets open. So that seems about right. So that's good. Earlier, what was happening is as one of these things would keep running for longer and longer, there'd be like, 46 people connected, but like 200 sockets open or something, so it's like, it started leaking sockets. And the bad thing is when like one single app, this is all Linux, so one single app in Linux, it's limited to about 1,000 sockets being open. So at some point, one of these server nodes would leak enough sockets that it would run out and then it would just completely self-destruct. There's that word again, self-destruct. So by trying to like fix these, then I can keep one of these servers running for longer. I don't have to like reboot it once every day or something like that, which is annoying. But anyway, just to kind of show you the debugging stuff. Oh, another kind of neat side effect is that I didn't even expect is the cloud console stuff that I wrote. So as a quick refresher, what the cloud console is if any of you weren't here last week, if you come into Ballistica, if you're signed into your account, so I'm signed in as Ifro in the game, I'm signed in as Ifro on the website. You go to devices, you'll see your device show up here, and then you can hit console, and then now you have a live Python console so you can talk to the game. So, if you do stuff like bi.screen message, hello world, and then run that, it will run in the game. So it's a handy way to kind of debug if you're doing mods and things. You can see your mod output and errors and stuff like that. It'll all show up here. So for people on like Android phones and Chromebooks and things, that's should be super helpful. So the new version update, the 1.7.10, it adds a few things. It makes this behave a little bit better. So if you want to grab that, it's not a super important update, but it kind of cleans up a little bit. But the neat thing that I wound up doing for myself, on a side note, is I wound up hooking up Cloud Console to my own servers. So instead of just connecting to like a running game like this, I can also go into my all this cloud server stuff, and I can just connect to one of these guys using the same thing, which is kind of neat. So let's connect to, let's find one that's not super busy. Okay, here's one in Ohio that's not doing too much. So I can come down here and do Cloud Console and boink. So there, okay, now I'm connected to that local server that's running all the account connections. And so this is neat. I can do the same stuff here. Hello world. Just execute random Python on that server and stuff. But I've been using this to kind of debug those memory leaks. And so I wanted to show you the kind of little tool set that I built. So if you're looking in the game repo, it's under tools actually, but there's the ifro package, which is a Python package, has a bunch of random stuff in it. And there's documentation somewhere that describes like what these different things are, but the ifro package is basically just anything that I'm writing anywhere. This is like common code for like all my stuff. So this is just like totally generic Python that I can kind of recycle different places. So anything under ifro is meant to be kind of like really recyclable and hopefully won't change a ton. And you have access to that from the game. So let me go back to a game console here. Boink. So bring up the game. Connect to it under devices. Okay, all right, now I'm in the game. Move this off to the side. But you have access to this stuff here. So I'm just going to do, like normally I never do this in code, but in the interactive stuff it's actually useful, I think, is I'll do from ifro.debug import everything. And command return, so it ran that, there's no output. But now if we do this dir command, if you're not familiar with it, dir just kind of like shows you what is available in Python. If you dir some object, it'll show you what that object contains, like a equals foo. So there, I've created a string. Now I'm going to do print dir a. And see, this will show you like basically all the attributes under a string object. So it's kind of handy to like just poke around on things and see what you can mess with, what functions or whatever is available. But anyway, so if we just do dir by itself, this shows you like what is in the main namespace. And so you can see, because we just imported ifro.import, we did that from ifro.debug import star, it pulled everything out of ifro.debug, which is, if you just take a look at it, it's just a handful of functions. Like there's getObj, single, getrefs, print files, print refs, print types, and I think that's it. So yeah, it's basically just a handful of functions to basically just print or look at what is in Python. So it uses the GC library a lot, or the GC module, which is garbage collector. That stands for garbage collector. So if you look at what this stuff is doing, there's like GC gives you a few kind of handy things like get objects. gc.getObjects, this basically gives you every object that exists like within Python. So it's not something that you would want to do as part of your normal code. It's mainly for debugging, because that gives you a lot of objects. But for debugging, it's super handy, because you can just like go through every garbage collected object in Python and see like, oh, I have like 5 of these class exist and 10 of these class and whatever. So I wrote some kind of handy wrappers around this stuff. So if you want to take a look at any of this, so one of them is get types. So if we just do get types, or no, not get types. Let's do the print ones. The print ones are more for interactive use. So let's do print types. Okay, there we go. So this just went through like every object that is existing in the game here and telling you like what exists. So it's like we have 6,950 functions, 4,000 dicts, 3,000 tuples, a bunch of weak refs, blah, 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 blah. So you can go down and, this kind of, I was using this on my server to kind of diagnose leaks. Because I would see like, oh, the number of sockets is going up over time. This is way out of control. Or yeah, just when it's kind of an easy way to tell if things don't look right. So like in Bomb Squad, if you had, say, like 300 spaz objects showing up here, even though you clearly don't have 300 spazes in the game, that means like you're probably leaking spazes. There's probably something that is holding on to references to those spaz objects. And that's something you kind of got to be careful with. It's really easy. I mean, Python, the garbage collection is pretty decent, but still, like if somehow you have a list of spaz objects, like Python will never clear that list, because it thinks like, oh, you're keeping this for a reason. So you need to kind of stay on top of like what all you're holding on to. And so this is kind of just a handy way to do that. So you can basically, this will just print like a quick overview of what you have the most of. What else is there? There's print refs. Let's see. I can get to that one in a minute. Oh yeah, there's get objs. So get objects. This will basically give you all objects of a specific type. So let's see if there's something interesting we want to look at. There's actually nothing too exciting here. Oh, ba.node. Oh, okay, so there's 28 node actors, which is probably part of the main menu here, I'm guessing. But let's take a look at them. So let's do actors equals get objs, and you can actually give it the type here. So let's see, import ba.node actor. Okay. Print found. Okay, so we'll run that code. Found 28 actors. So there we go. So this code just like went through every object that Python has and looked for ones that were node actors, and so it found those 28. Let's just go ahead and. Oh, okay, not very descriptive string representations of actors. But so anyway, yeah, you can use this kind of stuff. Like if you have objects in your game that are not going away, this will show you like what exists. And then what we can do is let's grab the first one and take a look at it. So we'll just do a equals actors 0. Print a. Let's get rid of this. Run that code. So node actor object blah. Which reminds me, I should make this print a more, I don't know, maybe there would be a better description of that. Let's do our friend dir a. So what is available under this actor? Is alive, node, on expire, blah, blah, blah. I guess that's standard actor stuff. Okay. But then one other thing is, so if we don't know why this actor is sticking around, like if we have an actor that should have been deallocated but it's not, then there's another function here which is, let's see, print refs. So this is a handy little thing. So if you print refs, this will show you, let's try this, print refs a. Okay, and this says, okay, this is the node actor, this is the ID. So what an ID is in Python, it's basically like the memory location. It's just like the pointer value. If you're familiar with pointers, it's like where this object is. So an ID value for a living Python object will always be kind of unique. Except if that object gets deallocated and some other object gets allocated, it could use that same place in memory. So you could have that ID be reused. But anyway, that's just something to know. Like whenever you're looking at two different Python objects, you can compare their ID. And to get an ID for something, it's just like print ID of A. Actor ID is an ID of A. So yeah. But anyway, going back to this print refs thing. So I'll clear the screen. So this shows you basically, here's that node actor and the things that are referring to it. So if you remember in Python, like things get deallocated once something is no longer referring to it, once all the references disappear. So you can see this node actor is being referred to by 3 different things. So there's this list, and it tries to like spit out a little bit of info. So apparently there's a big list of node actors, which I think I know what this is. I think the game activity or the activity keeps a list of actors. And so this is probably what that is. And then the second thing, there's a dictionary. And then you can see it says vars for module main. So everything in Python, like whether it's a module or a class instance, it has a little dictionary which contains all of its attributes. And so that's what these are. So basically it's saying like something in module main is referring to this node actor. And actually what that would be, this stuff runs in module main. So A, this is probably talking about A. A is a variable that's referring to this actor. The third thing is vars for main menu activity. So something in main menu activity is also referring to this actor. So anyway, this can kind of start to give you a hint of like, oh, there's something keeping this object alive and this is it. So I need to, clear this. If there's some like attribute that you set on something like that points to your object, be like, oh, I need to clear that attribute, then the object will be allowed to die. Another thing you can do, this is recursive, so it'll show like this list refers to the actor, this dict refers to the actor, this one refers to the actor. But then it recurses down, so like this list is kept alive because this dict refers to it, this module refers to this. So you can recurse more. I think it's, yeah, you can do like max level equals, let's go crazy and go 4. And so then see, you can really start, yeah, you can really start diving down and seeing like what is keeping what alive. I put some other utilities in here too. So like expand IDs. So you can give it specific IDs if you want it to like expand just one thing. So if I do like max level 2, oops, let's max level 2, and it's like, I just want to see what's under this guy. So I'm going to take his ID, and then we'll do expand IDs equals, and throw that ID value in there. Now when we run it again, oh wait, oh no, wrong ID. I want to expand this one. Now we run that again, and okay, you can see now it expanded out main menu activity, so we can see like what's under it. So it's just another way to kind of look around at stuff and see what is referring to what. One other kind of handy thing, I made a so get refs, that'll give you all the references for some object. Get objs, oh, you can have it, oh yeah, we used that. That's like, give me all the objects of type actor or whatever. Get objs, this one will let you get a single object based on its ID. So normally, I don't know if there's a way to do this in Python because it's not really a safe thing if you're just giving it a pointer value. But what this does is you give it that ID and it'll iterate through every object in Python, and if the ID matches, it'll return that object. So it's super inefficient, but it does give you a way to like grab one of these objects and look at it. So there's some bound method, blah, blah, blah here. So let's just do, if we want to take a look at this, we'll just do like m equals get obj, blah, and then print m. So there it works. So we were able to like find this random object in the list of all Python stuff, and then now we have it as m. So we could do like, what is this? Like, what does it contain? Let's see. So do a dir on that and see what it. Oh, there's no public attributes available on that one. So anyway, I think that's largely it. It's like I said, this is kind of handy stuff. So what I was doing on my server is just basically I would go through and I would do get objs on like socket objects to see like what socket connections were out there and existing. And then I was trying to, from there I would do like get references to see like what is keeping those sockets alive, and then try to, figure that out and make sure those sockets get released when they're done being used. And I actually fix it a clean way. Like I didn't actually figure out what was holding on a reference to it, but I think there's a bug in Python that's causing it. I think it's something related to like SSL. There's some case where if you have an SSL connection, like a HTTPS, a secure internet connection, like some cases it doesn't release that like on the Python side. So I added like a workaround where it just like if I've tried to close the connection and it's that the socket object still exists 10 seconds later, then I just like force close it. So it seems to be working for now, but it's a little bit of a hack and I don't like hacks, but if it is that bug that I think it is, apparently it's fixed in Python 3.11, which we'll probably switch to in a few months. So I'll take a look again in a few months. Um, anyway, so that is this debug stuff. So grab the test builds of Python, or not Python, of Bomb Squad 1.7.10 if you want to play with that debug stuff. Or it's in GitHub. I just pushed everything to the public repo. So, but again, nothing here is too fancy. It's mostly just using the GC stuff, like grabbing all the Python objects and iterating through those and returning lists of them and things like that. One thing I commented on here though is like when you're working with this stuff, you do have to be careful because like there's lots of things create references that you don't realize. Like the fact that if you're looking at this object, you're going to see one of the references is this M. Like so, this is the main namespace. Like whenever you run code, like not in a specific module, it's in like main, and so you'll see like, oh, there's a reference coming from the main namespace dictionary or something, and so that is this little M here. So there's lots of things in Python that create references to other objects that sometimes you don't realize that they're creating references, and that'll show up and make your lists like extra confusing if you're not aware of it. So anyway, that's all for debugging. So it's not been the most exciting week for me. It's just like I hate spending days like tracking down leaks and bugs and stuff like that, but I need to do it, otherwise my servers will self-destruct. So that's what I've been up to. And then yeah, I think I fixed that leak like last night, so now I'll be moving on to whatever was next on my list, which is I think getting a REST API in there, and then probably working on getting the V2 accounts working for Google Play stuff. So I'll be starting on that next. I might do a little bit more cleanup just to make sure that my stuff is not leaking, but it seems to be doing a lot better. So like I said, I'll take a look at one of my most busy servers, what's the most busy? Okay, here's the one in Mumbai. There's 263 people connected right now to this one running instance of Python. So there's 256 plus 14 other things going on. And so yeah, the socket count seems to be about right. So it should be just a little more than 256. So that looks good. Hooray. And yeah, so that's basically my update for the week. Trying to think if there's anything else new. I should do better at like making a list of topics and things. Yeah, if you'd like to, yeah, feel free. Like if you want to go ahead and show the plugin manager. I know I'm not always the best at following up with my things I'm going to say I'll do, but so please don't hesitate to call me out when I do that. So yeah, let's get a demo. Here, I will stop sharing. Not disconnect. Stop streaming. Okay. Oh yeah, I guess people could just switch. Although, can I watch the stream if I'm still streaming? That's a good question. Cool. Using that like store icon that I was probably will still use on 2.0, but Oh, cool. So that's where we would want like icons for that stuff. Nice. That is awesome. Sweet. Oh, that's super cool. So yeah, thanks for showing that. I should have just had you do that right away. Yeah, it's like I. So yeah, anyone in general, yeah, anyone who wants to give demos of stuff they're working on or just cool tricks they have or anything like that, like please do. But yeah, that's awesome. Very like slick UI.